Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. So we saw a video that went viral on social media of a mother having a very proud mother-child moment, saying that her child had for many times going to school, gotten beaten, and this proud moment was the moment when her child slapped the person who was sort of bullying the child in school. So she did a detailed video showing the child, showing the face of the child, showing the injury on the child, explaining that this child always comes back home with injury before, and that now she's so proud. The teacher had called her to tell the mother that your daughter slapped the child. And he said, "What did the child do to my daughter?" Online, the response has been a mixed one, and I'd like to hear the opinion of the ladies of your view. I'd also like to hear from you as well. So you can join the conversation by calling the numbers on the screen, 020163-52013, or you could tweet to us. We'd love to hear from you. Now, is it right to train your child to fight? Or is it right, at what point do we say it's violent? At what point do we say self-defense? At what point do we say that we are raising a child that is going to be a very aggressive person in circumstances, or we're raising a child that is going to be a lily-livered, easily bullied child? Nima, I kind of know where you stand on this, but let me just, because I didn't know, I kind of know where you stand on this, you know, but let me just hear from you.
She may have changed today.
Or maybe the video, the way the video.
No, I understand this mother. Me, I'm happy for her. And I'm just, paying that how we're made to raise kids, to raise their hands, because it just might be creating a monster. I had to change my daughter to a calmer, more patient person. So I understand, but it's the teacher's failure. All the time. You are the adult in the room, the mother who turns their eyes away, I'm this mother. The day that my son raised his hand and took his toy from, they were just 4-year-olds, he's a month older than this girl. But she bullies him all the time in front of all of us. Maybe because she was a girl bullying a boy. We don't say anything. And that time he did not speak our local, give me back. This I was saying, give me more, be back. And then eventually one day he just raked the girl, put her down, took his toy, said, give it back. Said, hey. And I saw the girl's mother come out at that time.
And you were a proud mother.
So yeah, I was a proud mother at the time. But I saw the girl's mother come out because she finds her child in the sand. It would have been fair that she's saying to the girl the way I was saying to my daughter when she was 2, that I can't keep coming to school because you're beating up everybody. You need to learn. And I remember saying to her when she got to a new school that if they ever call me in this school, it's me that will beat you. And it stopped. Yeah. If mothers, the adults, the parents, the teachers do their job, because I cannot come and kill myself, and they are already killing a child. Imagine, look at the age of the child we're talking about. It's the school, the teachers.
It's a baby. Yes. That was even the part that got to me. Because I'm like, this child is barely working.
Yeah. So definitely for me, I'm with Nima on this, which is really, for me, the failure on the part of the school or whoever the adults are in that situation, because we're talking of a little child. Now, the mother is proud of her for defending herself after several times of being bullied. And obviously nothing had been done to address the bullying. The person that's doing the bullying, or the group of persons that have been hurting the girl. So hurting not just emotionally, where you're saying, okay, maybe you didn't even see it. Physical bruises on this child's face. So for me, that place has stopped being a safe place, a school. It has now become a war zone. And so the mother had to equip her child to protect herself in a war zone. That place has stopped being a school. And to have teachers, and the audacity of the teacher to come and say, your child was found, hating someone. For me, that's at the point that I will call the school out. I will call out the name of the school, the teacher and everything. So to get up and speak on behalf of someone and try and stop defend a behavior. But you didn't do this all this time. You allowed a behavior to be perpetuated so much that it has now become commonplace, that I now have to equip my child with the tools to defend herself. I was reading, this just an example, when the stories of people who would go into American schools and shoot at their children became rife, they were selling these bags that were bulletproof knapsacks, bulletproof school bags for their children that they can put on their backs or in front of them in case of an invasion. And the parent was saying how sad that she has to have this conversation with a 6-year-old. That is the same way I feel with this child. That it has become a war zone. This one is that you are fighting against people who are coming to scratch you, pull your hair and everything. I have to send my child to a war zone to learn schooling. So truly for me, this is not really about just the bully, because even the bully, we're talking of little children. These are, I think she's like 3 or 4 years.
Yes.
So what are you doing as a student, as a teacher? What are you doing as a school that you're allowing these sort of things to
one
happen?
child injure another.
But beyond everything, I think the woman should take her child out of that school. That's not a way to allow your child to be raised. Come and change your child that you have loved. No, but there are schools. Please help me. There are so many schools that a child does not go through that.
Yes.
No, maybe in your area or town. You know, these schools that
solve
we are
it in
talking
the
about.
school. Yeah, solve
Each
it.
school you have to solve
you
it
still
to,
meet people that bully
because
you.
you take the child to another school and then she's making new friends. She's adjusting.
Different things again. So for me, I think we just need to understand bullying. The bully, the bullied, and the witness all face the same sort of side effects and trauma at the end of the day. And I've always said this: if you cannot observe, you have no right being a classroom teacher. Not many children can come and report when they are being bullied, and that's where observation comes into play. So you should look at your class to know that this one is always pulling somebody's hair and call the child to order even before the one that they pull the hair comes to report. But many times we are waiting for the child to come and report before we do something. That's one. Sometimes there are some parents that you like more than other parents. So you see their child misbehaving in class and you overlook them, and then it affects the child going forward. So I've had 3 children who had 3 different personalities. The first 2, when they were from very little, they were calling me to school to come and sit my children down. Don't pull somebody's hair, don't hit somebody, don't do this. And so I had to, in fact, the children did not even report. It was the observation of the teacher to say that I've noticed this girl is doing this, I've noticed this boy is doing this, and we had to address it. I had to, at some point, I had to take out my daughter's snacks for 1 week, you know, just for her to get the message that you don't treat another person like this. And he adjusted. Now, for the last one, is a different personality. She's now on the receiving end where everybody's giving her bass, and I don't know what to do. So when I saw this video, I'm like, are you sure I should not give her
ammunition? This
kind of ammunition. But I'm also weary because sometimes you can determine the beginning of a fight. You don't know the end of that fight. Not like I care though, but because a child is involved, I want to be very careful. And so I always tell her, when this happens, go straight and report to the teacher. If you report 1, you report 2, you report 3, take action. Now the action part, now you get pause. Like when I'm giving her, she's like, "Mommy, but that's not me. Hey, what do I do to this child?" So it can be painful when your child is on the receiving end, and that's why the teachers must do their job. Observe and put things in place to stop this. They are children, they are growing, they are so I realized that from very early you can tell the different personalities of different children. In their mind, they don't see it as bullying. It's a form of control for them. They want to be heard, they want to be seen, and that is how they express. That is the time to begin to correct it. You don't wait till that child now grows to secondary school and now carrying gun to shoot somebody that's just annoyed them. So we need to do a lot as caregivers and teachers. It's our responsibility, I beg. And parents as well. When they call you that your child is beaten, don't say, "No, my child cannot do that. Oh. My child does not do that at home." Pay attention to what they have observed. Yes, because children can have split personalities. They one face to what their mother, another face to an outsider.
They also know what they can get.
Yes, exactly. So true. So when they call you, observe too, and don't just write it off. No, they're lying on my child. My child cannot do this. We need to stop that as parents. Please.
All right, we'll take a quick break.
Carry for pregnancy. If it's
break.
When we return, we'll continue with the show. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. So concerning this topic, I don't know. I feel as someone who was very, very bullied in school and who never fought, I feel that even those that choose not to fight will still be okay. They'll be okay. And it's not everybody that is naturally wired to be a fighter. Some of us, even if you try to turn us to fighter, we will not become fighter. Say anything you say, we are not. It's not our nature to fight. Okay. But I am worried about this thing to post online. You didn't need to post that child's face. I feel really, really bad. She didn't need to. Can we learn to protect our children? Can we? Because like you're putting a child, I'm sure it is even the blogs that reposted it that blurred the face. She didn't even by herself blur the face. She's coming online to show off the fact that a child fought back. Yes, you can choose to push your narrative, but protect your innocent child who, yes, had fought back and you're proud of her, does not need her face posted online just because of what? What's the message? What are you trying to drive the lesson? I don't think people understand. You know, when we talked about last week, we were talking about educating. 2 weeks ago, people don't have education. I think in this case too, it's a lot of people don't understand how the social media space can be and how vulnerable we are, how things can be taken out and reused and repurposed. Protect your child. You shouldn't be posting that small child online just because you want to do content for any reason. I agree. Okay. I know Mariam went to chip in something.
Yeah, I wanted to say when you said not everybody is going to be a fighter, and I say a lot of times we don't talk a lot about the emotional work, hard work that non-physical fighters do on themselves. You see, they build themselves up mentally that they're able to separate nonsense from, you know, from what they should, from sense. Yes, thank you for that. Separate nonsense from sense. They understand boundaries. They understand what they want. I understand that as a parent, you feel like my child is always on the receiving end. Your child is building up mental strength, emotional strength. I know it because it happened to me, and I know a lot of people that it has happened to. They grow up into these adults, and you're wondering, how are you able to do this? How are you able to take this? You understand? I don't need you in my space. I don't want you in my space. You are not good for my space. I'm not going to be going back and forth with you. Whatever it is you're saying is not true about me. So that is something we need to recognize in those who do not always have to fight. I'm not saying don't learn to defend yourself in healthier ways, but I'm saying that there's also a good that comes from knowing that I am not a physical fighter, but I am building up strength mentally.
So I believe that, you know, life, things that happen to us as individuals from childhood all the way eventually forms and shapes who we become as adults. So maybe as adults you'd have been able to develop, but some people, every human has a monster.
True.
Even the fighters.
The fighters, their monster is the one that shows
you see their own.
The quiet person, if you don't do the right thing, you don't know how it will present.
Not necessarily quiet.
No, you know what you allow. This happens among siblings are your first trial.
I'm trying to understand.
Siblings are your first trial, so you don't know what it will present. You know that mother, and you think well, maybe one child was maybe a sickly child, and that child becomes the bully who is always protected. And then she's always inciting, or he's always inciting this other sibling. And the parents, maybe because of experiences of the childbirth, are more lax than one. The day that the one that is supposedly undefended, you just see an adult, you say, you always took my side, sister's side. You know, it presents the same way.
Different sides.
Yeah, in different ways. You might just be developing that one to blow out of proportion one day. We see some children emotionally, everything. You need to, as an observer parent, balance, God bless you with the balance, or else you need that balance. Because if you don't do that balance well, you know, you might just have a problem.
Sometimes you may not be able to do it, but life will help.
Conclusion, final words.
So it's just about observing our children. What works for one will not work for the other. Our children are given different personalities. I always like to, go into the different characteristics and personalities of different people. Everybody will not present the same way. Even if you check the star signs, the behaviors are different. It doesn't mean one is superior to the other. It's just how they present. So what you now find is, what are the weaknesses of this child, and how can I help balance out with what are some of the things that I can help the child to learn, to balance it out. So the one that is always the bully, maybe the one that gets angry the most, how do we, give you that space to breathe? When you're upset, calm down and breathe, then come back and have this conversation. I deal with a lot of young people, and sometimes I tell them that you need to take time out, go and breathe and come back, and then we have this conversation. And by the time the child comes back, they are ready to listen to you and be logical about it. Now that one that is mostly quiet, that's always bottling things up, the day they blow, they always overblow. They blow out of proportion. How do you communicate without bottling it up in the name of just saving face and creating peace?
At the end of the day, at the end of the day, there are some of us that we don't fight and are not bottling it up.
Exactly.
So
you think so?
I disagree. Give room for every category
of
people.
People only see the weakness of she's not fighting, but they forget that there's a strength as
in
well.
it, and I love that.
And you need to appreciate
That's what we can take on the show. We've heard all sides, you know, and we have to be balanced. Thank you so much for a beautiful show. We'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Bye.